Ugly motherfucker.
The Predator has become one of the most iconic and recognizable creature designs in pop culture. However, did you know that this particular look was a nightmare to finally get right, with the production team going through dozens of conceptual and physical work? However, to see just how they arrived at this final design, we have to go back to the beginning. Illustrator William Stout was brought onto Predator during its early production, when the film was still titled Hunter. Only the script existed at this stage, and there was no finalized design for the Predator. Since the creature's appearance had yet to be established, Stout was hired to help develop the visual identity of the alien hunter. Director John McTiernan initially presented Stout with an H.R. Giger illustration, hoping to incorporate its eerie and biomechanical aesthetic into the Predator's design. Inspired by this, Stout conceptualized a version of the Predator that bore a resemblance to a high-tech velociraptor, integrating Giger's signature biomechanical elements. The head of this Predator in particular echoed H.R. Giger's iconic artwork, giving the design a skeletal and alien-like quality. However, as the design process continued, Stout sought to convince McTiernan to explore alternative approaches to the creature's look. He experimented with different versions of the Predator, moving away from the sleek reptilian design and into more monstrous territory. One concept featured a bulkier body with rows of razor-sharp teeth, giving the Predator a more grotesque and terrifying presence. A particularly unique take involved the Predator being able to camouflage with its surroundings by mimicking vines. Stout also developed another early concept, this time drawing inspiration from a catfish skeleton. This design retained elements of the earlier Giger aesthetic while still being unique. McTiernan reportedly liked this version of the Predator, but for reasons that remain unknown, it was ultimately abandoned. Over time, the Predator's appearance continued to evolve, gradually adopting a more insectoid and otherworldly look. With a rough idea on what the Predator should look like, McTiernan and the studio approached Steve Johnson of Boss Film Studio to translate the concept into a more practical costume.
And they were awful. It was ahead of its time, let's put it that way. But the head did suck. The head was no.
Johnson was presented with a variety of early concept art and tasked with bringing a form of this design to life in a wearable suit. However, he expressed concerns about the practicality of the creature's look. Despite these concerns, work on the suit began and went through a couple more concepts. The final design retained the many elements from the initial concept art, particularly the strange insectoid and reptilian characteristics. The Predator had a canine-like head, an elongated and spindly body, and imposing proportions that made it tower over its surroundings. Its unsettling appearance gave off the impression that the Predator was some kind of space cockroach or an alien bug.
They were late turning out the Predator, and we all desperately anticipating. It's coming, it's here today. No, the day it arrived. And they took the crowbars and pried it open and opened it and lifted it out of the box, and we all looked at each other and said, "Oh, are we in trouble?"
Once the completed suit was revealed to the production team, it was met with widespread disapproval. There were several reasons for this negative reception. First, the design itself was not particularly striking. It lacked a memorable or intimidating presence, making it an underwhelming choice for the film's central antagonist. Second, The suit was highly impractical. Actors struggled to move inside it. Breathing was difficult, and the stilts you had to stand on made moving very challenging and dangerous. These issues were so significant that they played a role in Jean-Claude Van Damme's decision to leave the role of the Predator. Although this version of the suit was ultimately scrapped, it did make a brief appearance in the film. It became clear that this design would not work, and McTiernan contacted the studio to request a full redesign of the Predator. At first, the production team attempted to salvage the original design by covering it in a futuristic-like armor, hoping this would make it look more imposing and intimidating. This quick fix was short-lived, as McTiernan, along with Robert Short and illustrator Alan Munro, decided to explore entirely new directions for the Predator's appearance. Various new concepts were experimented with, including one iteration that leaned into a more animalistic appearance, with the Predator donning a spacesuit to enhance its menace. It was during this phase of development that the creature's now iconic mandibles began to take shape. The team continued to refine the Predator's features, making adjustments to its anatomy and facial structure to create a truly alien and fearsome look. McTiernan eventually took inspiration from Maasai warriors, incorporating elements of their aesthetic into the Predator's design. This led to the creature adopting a more humanoid form. Illustrator Alan Munro translated this appearance into his concept art, designing the Predator with dreadlocks and a set of mandibles still present. This new direction gave the creature a distinct identity, blending tribal warrior influences with alien menace. While this iteration of the Predator was taking shape, Arnold Schwarzenegger suggested that McTiernan contact makeup artist Dan Winston to complete the final look. Winston was brought in and used Munro's concept art as a foundation for further refinement. While working on the design, Winston drew additional inspiration from a Rastafarian warrior illustration. This influence helped shape the Predator's final appearance, with its signature dreadlocks and fierce, warrior-like appearance. Through Winston's refinement, the Predator's design continued to evolve until it reached its now iconic form. The completed physical costume was developed, giving life to one of the most recognizable and legendary creature designs in cinematic history.